No one warns you that the moment you start caring deeply is often the moment she starts pulling away. At first, everything feels easy. She texts first, she laughs at your dry jokes. She asks about your day. You feel chosen, wanted, safe, then something shifts, you open up more. You respond faster, you cancel plans to see her. You start thinking long term. And suddenly, she's busy, replies get shorter, the warmth cools down. You feel her energy retract and you're confused. Because in your mind, caring more should make things stronger. But here's the uncomfortable truth: attraction and emotional security are not built the same way. And when you start caring without awareness, you often change the dynamic without realizing it. Let's talk about what's actually happening. In the early stage, both of you are slightly uncertain. That uncertainty creates dopamine. Dopamine is not love, it's anticipation. It's the thrill of, I don't fully have this person yet. That tension creates desire. When you suddenly overinvest, you remove the tension. You make yourself fully available, fully predictable, fully emotionally exposed. For someone with avoidant tendencies, that feels suffocating. Not because you did something wrong, but because intimacy activates their fear of losing independence. The closer you move, the more their nervous system interprets it as pressure, and here's where most men mess up. Instead of noticing the shift and stabilizing themselves, they double down. More texts, more reassurance, more emotional intensity. They try to fix the distance by increasing closeness. But anxiety chases, avoidance withdraws. That's the anxious avoidant loop. One person fears losing connection, the other fears losing autonomy. The more one leans in, the more the other leans out. Now let's get more uncomfortable. Sometimes she pulls away not because she's scared, but because your sudden emotional dependence changes how she perceives you. Attraction is heavily tied to perceived emotional stability. When she felt like you had your own world, your own direction, your own pace, she felt drawn to you. The moment she senses that her attention regulates your mood, the polarity shifts. You start reacting to her instead of leading your own life. That subtle shift kills desire faster than any argument. Men and women process this differently. Many men bond through consistent closeness. The more time they spend, the more attached they feel. Their feelings grow with investment. Many women bond through emotional depth and polarity. They are drawn to strength that feels steady. When that steadiness becomes emotional reliance too early, their attraction system questions it. This isn't about being cold. It's about emotional containment. Caring is not the problem. Over-identifying with the relationship is. There's also another layer no one likes admitting. When you start caring more than she does, the power dynamic tilts. Human psychology, regardless of gender, values what feels slightly scarce. When you give everything without requiring mutual effort, you communicate that she doesn't have to invest to keep you. And people rarely respect what requires no effort to maintain. Now, before you twist this into manipulation tactics, understand this clearly. This is not about playing games, it's about understanding that attraction needs space to breathe. If your happiness becomes dependent on her validation, you unconsciously hand her control over your emotional state. She feels it, even if you never say it, and that weight is heavy. Women often withdraw when they sense they are becoming someone's emotional anchor too quickly. Not because they enjoy hurting you, but because they didn't sign up to manage your stability. And here's the part that might sting. Sometimes she pulls away because she was never as emotionally invested as you thought. Early affection can be curiosity, loneliness, boredom, or ego validation. When you convert that into serious attachment, you create a mismatch. You thought it was building. She thought it was exploring, so when your intensity increases, she realizes the gap. And instead of communicating clearly, she retreats. Avoidance is easier than confrontation. Now look at yourself honestly. When she pulled away, did you start overthinking every message? Did you check her last scene? Did your mood depend on whether she replied? That's not love, that's attachment anxiety. And attachment anxiety makes you behave in ways that slowly push the other person further. You become hyper-focused, you lose playfulness. You start seeking reassurance indirectly. You analyze tone shifts, you sense danger everywhere. That energy feels heavy. Attraction needs lightness. Anxiety makes things heavy. Here's the shift most people miss. When she pulls away after you start caring, it's not a sign to care less artificially. It's a sign to regulate yourself. Caring is healthy, clinging is not. There's a difference between expressing interest and outsourcing your emotional stability. If your life shrinks around her, she will feel it. If your routines, goals, friendships, and focus remain intact, your caring feels grounded instead of desperate. Women are highly sensitive to emotional undercurrents. They notice when your attention is centered on them versus when they are part of a balanced life. And this applies the other way too. Men also pull away when they feel overwhelmed by emotional demands. This is human behavior, not a gender war, but let's get brutally clear. If someone consistently pulls away every time things deepen, they likely have avoidant attachment patterns. And no amount of proving your love will fix that. You cannot heal someone's fear of intimacy by offering more intimacy. You can only decide whether that dynamic works for you. The painful but freeing realization is this: her pulling away is information. It tells you about her capacity. It tells you about the balance of investment. It tells you whether this connection can handle depth. Instead of reacting with panic, observe. Instead of chasing, stabilize. Instead of shrinking yourself to keep her, expand your own life. Because the strongest position in any relationship is emotional self-sufficiency. Not coldness, not indifference, self-sufficiency. If someone wants to step closer, they should feel invited, not responsible. And if they step back, you don't collapse, you remain centered. That's maturity. The irony is, when you stop making someone your emotional oxygen, they often feel safer around you. But even if they don't come back, you win. Because you didn't lose yourself trying to hold on to someone who wasn't ready to hold you. Sometimes she pulls away when you start caring, not because caring is wrong, but because you confused love with losing yourself. And the moment you stop abandoning yourself for connection, you stop being afraid of who walks away. Sometimes the distance they create is the clarity you needed.